All right, so let's get started with what was our Movement for Movement Monday. And we talk about this all the time. We kind of started this movement back in 2020 prior to COVID, and we just kind of took a look at what the community's needs were. And it just felt like people were becoming a little cardiac paralyzed, they say, and just fearful of moving after diagnosis or after surgery. So we wanted to create an incentive, some motivation to get everybody up and moving. And while we realize that doing nothing is still doing something, some people tend to lean towards doing little when it comes to moving, especially after recovery from surgery or diagnosis. It's cardiac paralysis, as I said, and it's very normal and makes a lot of sense. However, it's really important that you try to do whatever your physician has cleared you to do, because moving your body is essential. It's essential for recovery and to overall physical and mental health and wellness. So it's important. And according to the Mayo Clinic, now this I think you'll find interesting, did you realize that Americans sit for 13 to 15 hours a day? They sit. We've actually made sitting into an art form in this country. It's like crazy when you actually are told those numbers, that somebody has tracked that. And that's what we're doing. We're sitting for 13 to 15 hours on average a day. However, excess sitting is now been linked with many different diseases and conditions, and that includes obesity, hypertension, back pain, cancer, cardiovascular diseases, and depression. So if you're sitting that long, you're at risk. You've now increased your risk for doing these things, okay? Or for having these things. So we wanted to give you a couple of different suggestions on ways that you can try to incorporate movement into your day. So this would be people who have a desk job, obviously, people who are fresh out of surgery, or you just got diagnosed, whatever the case is, but you're tending to just sit around, for whatever your reason is. So here's some suggestions and tips on things that you can do to kind of help you move a little bit more. Use a standing desk. I don't know if you've seen these, but they work on like a hydraulic system, and you can actually pull the desktop up very easily and stand. And it's great for circulation, because now you've got complete, utter blood flow versus when your legs are bent. You can march in place, you can walk in place. I've even known people who have small, tiny, portable treadmills, and they'll just walk in place. Now, I think that for me is a lot. That's walking, talking, typing. That's like way too many activities at this stage in the game. I'll probably trip and fall down. But the idea is that you stand. So, even if you're sitting and you don't have one of these desks, set a reminder on your watch to stand and move at least once per hour, no further than once every 2 hours, okay? Because it's the circulation issue. I mean, think about some of us that are dissected into our iliacs. You really don't want to sit for an extended period of time. If you have a gene that puts you at risk for forming blood clots, you definitely want to set that alarm clock and talk with your physician about this. But set an alarm clock and just stand. I know my smartwatch will yell at me. It'll start squawking, time to get up and move. So, these watches these days, they will do that. They'll yell at you and tell you it's time to move. When it's lunchtime, take a walk. Look, the weather's changing. If it's not too hot, if you can tolerate the temperature, get out and take a little walk for lunch, and then work and eat at your desk if you're allowed to do that. That's kind of how I used to not abuse, but work the system. But when it's lunchtime, get outside, stretch, walk around your court, walk around your building, whatever it might be. When you're on a phone or conference call, if you've got really good service, maybe walk while you're taking that conference call, right? Walk when you're on the phone calls, as long as you've got good service. It serves a dual purpose. Park far from store entrances and enjoy that walk to and from. Now, this is, of course, for people that can actually do that and don't have issues with mobility and can park further away. I might have a disability tag, but when it's good days, I definitely park farther away and try to get those steps in, as everybody says. But I do enjoy the walk, especially when it's beautiful weather outside. That's what I want to do. Skip the elevator and take the stairs. I usually do this when it's going downstairs. Sometimes Rarely I'll do it when it's going up, but that's just me. That's my own personal problems, my own health issues. But I definitely try to take stairs when it's going down as often as possible because, that's just easier. Okay. When you're like brushing your teeth or doing light household chores, walk. Anything that's just stationary, turn it into a moment to take in a couple extra steps when you're doing it. Obviously, don't just let your dog outside in the backyard. Add in an extra walk if you can, even if it's just right around the court, it's good just to get up and to get moving. When you're watching TV, consider walking on a treadmill. Again, you can buy these smaller, not so extravagant treadmills that aren't so expensive, and just consider doing that. I've also seen people buy very inexpensively these stationary pedalers. So it's not a bike, but it's just a pedal machine that you can use you can do it with your arms. You can also sit on your sofa and just bicycle away a little bit. It's still creating a sense of movement. When you are doing yard work, light yard work, because again, we're not supposed to be shoveling snow or maybe even using the lawnmower if it's creating exertion and you're having to hold your breath to get it started. But when you're doing it, planting, doing gardening and stuff like that, that's a good opportunity for you to move your body. Just do some of that stuff outside. Your body will thank you. It really will. So hopefully this was a little bit of a motivator to get you moving on a Monday, which was yesterday for the holiday, and happy holidays, everybody. Bye. Movement Monday.